Hi, and welcome to another conversation with ASTD. I'm Kristen Fife Mills, Senior Manager of Communications here at ASTD, and joining me today is Brandon Grubeski, who is the manager of our Chapter Services team. Thank you for joining us. Chapters. We have a lot of them. I want to talk a little bit about them and some things that we're doing to serve our chapter members. So let's just start with how many chapters we have, where they are, what they do, who runs them.
Sure. Thanks for having me. We've got over 120 chapters in the U.S. At present, and they are located everywhere across the country, small rural towns to major metropolitan areas. We actually have a chapter in Puerto Rico. So they are led by a very dedicated group of volunteer leaders who also are in the profession. So it's really all about the folks who make it happen.
The chapter experience really is kind of bringing kind of the local flavor of membership to the place where you live and where you work. I think that's the beauty of that engagement model. Talk a little bit about why people choose to be chapter members of ASTD.
Absolutely. So chapters offer a number of different benefits. Primarily, like you said, it's local networking, it's local programming, it's the opportunity to connect with other people in the profession very locally, and it's right in your backyard. They also typically feature local jobs, so folks who are looking to change careers or looking to get into the profession really can connect at a local chapter.
I know that we have relationships with, as you said, 120 chapters, and those chapters have relationships with companies in the area, with colleges and universities, and are really kind of have their finger on the pulse of what's happening in our field in their neck of the woods.
Absolutely. The bulk of our chapters have relationships with other businesses in the community, with senior learning leaders in the local community, and with local companies. And so a lot of times the programming and benefits they offer is very specific to their area.
Which is great. So there's chapter membership and there's national membership, and they are not the same thing. Right. So let's talk through that a little bit and clear up any confusion that might be out there, because they really work best when they work together.
Correct. They very much complement each other. And so, like you said, national ASTD membership is separate from the local chapter. Many chapters have adopted a model where you can join both at the same time, which is making things a little bit easier for folks in, let's say, a larger organization. However, they're distinct benefits, but they very much do sort of augment each other, where you join and get that networking local feel while also getting the best practices from ASTD.
Right, so I think that sometimes we have confusion where people will say, well, I'm a chapter member, so I get T&D magazine, and we're like, oh, that's a national membership benefit.
Right, separate membership.
Separate membership. They work complementary, and we have a program actually that we call the
Power Member.
Power Member. That's right.
So when you join your local organization and then also become a member of the national organization, you become a Power Member, and you experience all the benefits that has to offer. You'll get discounts with national programs, our conference, and you'll also benefit the chapter at the same time.
Right, and one of the ways when Brandon was saying benefit the chapter is that ASTD has a lot of resources. We have a very robust store with books and education programs, and if you're a chapter member and you use the chapter code, when you purchase something, your chapter actually has a little financial reward.
They do, so it's definitely, we very much encourage folks to become a member of national and also their local chapter.
And one of the things that we do to support chapter leaders, those volunteer, we can't do anything as ASTD without volunteers. I'm just going to say that right now. And our chapter volunteers, huge thank you. But we do some special things to support our chapter leaders, and one of them is the Chapter Leader Conference, which is coming up at the end of October. So at ALC, we bring in keynote speakers and we have session facilitators, and the beauty of it is that it really is peer-led. But we also have a special talk from ASTD's CEO, Tony Bingham. And I think that's important for our chapter leaders because what he brings to the table, so to speak, in his talk, which you know a little bit about, and I'm going to ask you to share it, is important for them because of what they do in the profession. So give us a little insight into what Tony's going to be talking about.
Absolutely. Like you said, it's a really important talk. He's going to talk a little bit about some of the new things happening here at ASTD, some transitions that are happening in 2014, some changes that happened with the competency model and things like that. But more importantly for this conference, he's talking about what implications that means for our chapter leaders. So how can they take that information and really disseminate it to their members and make sure folks are on board with what's going on here.
That sounds great. So ALC, the ASD Chapter Leader Conference, October 25th and 26th in Arlington, Virginia. Peer-led, great information.
Absolutely.
For chapter leaders so they can go back and serve their chapter members in new and better ways. Brandon, thank you so much for the work you do on behalf of our chapters. and for helping make the world a better place to work.
Thank you.